In this video, I'm going to show you how to blur the background of a photo in Photoshop. And I'm using Photoshop CC, but it's pretty similar in whatever version you're using. So the first thing I'm going to do is duplicate the layer, and you can do that by right-clicking on it and selecting Duplicate Layer, or you can click on Control or Command J to do that. First thing I want to do, so here's Ruby barking her head off, and I want her to be the focus, and I just want to blur everything out so it has kind of that Instagram look. So I'm going to click on this select tool right here. This is the quick selection tool. So I'm going to select Ruby. And I don't have to be precise here, just uh, somewhat accurate. And I'm just selecting her. Uh, so, but I do want to be able to blur this stuff out. So I'm going to click on this minus here and just kind of click on these spots. Again, it doesn't have to be completely perfect, just somewhat. We might have a little bit of trouble um, discerning between her paws and the sunlit ground, but overall we should be able to get a decent selection there. And let's see. Oh, and we want to blur that too. Okay, so that's pretty good. Oh, we'll get that trim there because that's going to bug me. Okay. So we have a decent selection of Ruby, but we don't want to blur Ruby, we want to blur everything around her. So we're going to go up to Select and then Inverse. So now everything else is selected and Ruby is preserved. And the reason I always, whenever I do anything in Photoshop, I always duplicate the layer. You can duplicate it again if you want, but you don't want to mess up your original photo. And also another good reason to leave the original there is just so you can hide what you've done to see how big of a difference you've made. So we're going to go over and use the blur tool right here. Just click on that, and that is pretty small. So you can go up here and adjust the size if you want. I like to use the well, shoot, I can't show you my keyboard. There's the brackets. They're right next to the letter P on your keyboard. There's left makes them smaller, the right makes it larger. So we can just go up here, and you might want to play around with the hardness a little bit. Maybe we'll bump it up to 20. And there's different options here. There's the strength, and you can use different modes here. And if you're familiar with modes, you might use them down here. If not, I would highly recommend learning about them. They can do some amazing things. So just put that in the back of your mind to learn at some point. I do have a tutorial video, so check it out. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Let's see, here we go. It's not getting bigger. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to start kind of swirling over. Hopefully I'm not making you too dizzy. Make it a little bigger. Blur, blur, blur. As you can see, everything's starting to get a little blurrier. You can just kind of paint it over. What I suggest is getting the outsides more blurry, and then the area closer to your subject to be not quite as blurry. That gives it that tilt shift effect that we love so much in Instagram. So just keep blurring, blurring, blurring. This is not wanting to blur very much up here. It's okay. So just kind of keep going around. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to hide this layer, and as you can see how clear this is, and then see how blurred it is. You go back and forth. Something else you can do, if you don't, if sometimes I get nervous just keeping a live selection here, because it's so easy to mess things up, and I'm happy with my selection here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw a mask on there. Just go down here to the bottom and click on Add Layer Mask, and um, that way it doesn't matter. You won't accidentally delete that layer, delete it or mess up the selection, and just make sure that your image is selected and not the mask, because you can mess that up. So, and then this way you can just go over and it's not gonna mess it up at all. If we take a closer look though, you can see it's kind of screwy looking around her. So something we can do is click on the layer mask here, and then let's see, window, where is it? Where's my masks? Oh goodness here. Okay, well, refine mask. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. So you can just right click on the mask and then go down to refine mask. I haven't, this, I just got the Adobe Creative Cloud, the new CC, the subscription, which I highly recommend. Uh, you just subscribe to it every month and always get the latest software, so it's a pretty cool deal. But I don't fully have my favorite setup created just yet, my workspace. So we're just going to go down to Refine Mask and scooch that over there. So we're going to want to feather it, so that way it makes more of a transition to from the blurred to the non-blurred. Add a little bit of contrast, not too much though. I just really want to feather it in this case. Maybe not smooth it quite so much. Okay, so we're going to click OK. And there's, well, shoot. There's still that weirdness there. But you might be better off without that, so undo that. Well, it's hard to say. Okay, anyway, I'm rambling. But that's just a great way to blur the background there. And you can refine it, you can get it a little, you can get it better, you can clear up the mask here, so if you want to paint over it, you can kind of go over and just paint over those spots. It'd be best to zoom in and just kind of touch them up. Just to make it look a little neater. And you're going to have to re-blur it around your subject just so it shows up a little better. Look at their funny face. Alright, so hopefully this tutorial was helpful to you. I appreciate you visiting my channel, and I'd really recommend subscribing to my channel because I make tons of tutorial videos. If you have a suggestion, please let me know in the comments and I will make a tutorial video if I'm able. And check out my website, sallyu.com, and have a great day. Thanks so much for tuning in.